Lisa Bevere is a speaker and best-selling author of numerous books, such as Fight Like a Girl, Out of Control and Loving It, and this, her latest book, Lioness Arising, Wake Up and Change Your World. Lisa, welcome to Full Circle.
Oh, I'm great to be back with you guys. It's awesome.
We love having you on the couch here. Now, okay, Lioness Arising. Are you trying to tell us that we each have an inner lioness within us waiting to get out?
I certainly hope so. I really want to see women really bust out. You know, I think a lot of women are afraid of their strength. And, you know, as I begin to really explore this idea, I think that a lot of women are afraid of their strength because they understand if they acknowledge it, they're going to have to take responsibility. But responsibility, actually doing something when you see something and responding to it constructively, actually sets you free and brings a lot of healing into your life. And because I've been so enamored with this idea of the lioness and watched everything on, you know, National Geographic and, you know, world videos, I had an opportunity to actually preach in South Africa, and they took me on a safari. And I had been studying the lioness for so long that I actually felt like she probably knew me as well. And so we were out on this vehicle, and I don't know why they were like, hey, we're going to take you out among animals that can kill you, but there's not going to be doors, there's not going to be windows. We're just going to take you out there. And so we had gone out, and it was the third day. We're getting ready to leave, and we came up on this lioness and her 3 cubs. I had been watching her the whole time, and my husband watched me, and I was kind of leaning out, and he saw my hand slip out because she had come right up on my side of the vehicle, and I was just going to pet her backside, and I heard John say, absolutely not.
And you really were?
I just seriously, there was reasons why I'm married.
She was a good friend.
So I've had to imagine this conversation that I would have had with the lioness had my husband not interrupted me. I believe I would have patted her. She would have turned around. She would have saw me, and she would have said, Lisa! And I would have said, Lioness!
A kindred spirit.
Yes, of course. And John would have been shocked. And then I would say to her, you are stunning. And she would say to me, I know. And then she'd say, do you want to see what I can do? And she'd release her claws, and she'd say, with these claws, I can take down an impala and feed the entire pride. And then she'd retract them, and she'd produce a paw of velvet. And she'd say, with this same paw, I nurture and I train up the young to be mighty. And then she'd say, do you want to see what else I could do? And I'd say, bring it, sister. And John again would be like, whoa. And she'd bare her teeth, and everybody in the car would back down except for me. And she'd say, with these teeth, I hunt, I kill, and I defend. But with these same teeth, I move the young from one place to another without ever harming them. And then she'd plop down to take that 20-hour nap that lions and lionesses are famous for. Before she'd go to sleep, she would say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And I think we would all agree that the lioness is the sum of fear and wonder. But guess what? So are you. And I think we forget that.
Yeah, I was just to say, how do we get that in our head, though? Because for a lot of women, we're like, I feel that I have that lioness in me, but I'm exhausted. I have a 9-to-5 job. I have 3 kids under 5. I have a husband to care for. I've got in-laws that are getting older that I'm caring for.
Could I add to that?
Yes.
Maybe my husband is not a believer and I feel repressed. Yeah. Maybe my kids are wayward. I don't know how to get a control here. And I want to be a lioness. Help me.
Help me. What do I do?
Well, I love the fact that David talked about that God knit him fearfully and wonderfully. And David talked about that being his genesis. When you are seated with God's fearsome wonder, then that is something that is not something that is infected by what's outside of you, because it's the seed within you. And so you need to remember who you are and not what you do. I mean, we need to be defined by what God created us to be. And, you know, David actually had this ability to look at himself and say, how marvelous are your works, God. But he began to talk about that fearful wonderness was not in, you know, the ability of what he looked like, which is what God is really limiting all of us, because we've got to take care of our husbands, take care of our children, and then look amazing. There's so much pressure on all of us. We're not allowed to age. We're not allowed to do all this stuff. But, you know, it's a lie, because we are not women that are measured by what we look like. We need to be like the lioness to understand we are stunning because of what we are capable of doing.
And we need to be us.
And who made us. And so, you know, I think that you have to be a woman that says, first of all, my relationship to my Creator. I should be awed by what He created in me, not disappointed, not comparing myself with other people, not thinking because I'm less than or whatever. And we need to remember that we just have this power because we have this capacity, because we are sons and daughters of the Most High God. And then again, you know, understanding that we don't get our strength from ourselves, we get it from God. And we move in the grace of God. And the grace of God is the empowerment of God to respond no matter what our situation is, to be at ease, to be unforced. You know, striving is very unattractive. You know, we need to be people that are at rest with who we are, whose we are, and what we were created to do. And I felt like the Lioness just moved in that kind of move. She had that kind of function. And this is just that
men
time.
like women who are relaxed.
You know, they say the most attractive thing to a man
Just
is
good one.
confidence.
Yeah,
Is confidence.
Confidence, yeah.
Confidence. Men find women that are confident more attractive than any other thing.
And they can spot that. Like, I've had talks with you know, my guy friends who've said they can see a woman in a room and kind of call it out. Insecure, not confident, striving, trying to make it happen. And the ones that they're attracted to are the ones that are confident, that are sure of themselves, and I think the capacity of what they're able to do.
Right. But sometimes women operate under phantom strength, as was evidenced in your recent visit to the gym that I alluded to earlier.
Yes. We're not going to get away from that.
No.
Well, you know, I was speaking down in Australia, and you know, jet lag can do crazy things to you. And I had somebody come up to me when I was done doing like 7 services, and she said, "I've been watching this whole time, and I decided who you remind me of." And I was like, "Please don't say an American Idol judge. Please don't say." And she was like, "No, it's not her." She said, "It is the original Sarah Connor." And I was like, "Sarah Connor? Wasn't she blonde?" And she said, no, it's not her. It's not her hair, it's her buffness. Well,
The
you
Terminator
tell.
girl?
Yes, the Terminator girl.
Terminator
So I
girl.
was
Okay.
so like my heart began to pound. I was like, oh my gosh, did she just call me a 50-year-old grandmother buff? Oh, I want to look like this. I am Sarah Connor. So I like went home. I got my son that's tech savvy to pull down Sarah Connor's picture online, and all of a sudden I saw her, and she's got a gun, and she's in a wife beater, and she's doing pull-ups on the underside of a twin bed. And you know, I had never seen the movie, but why was she doing pull-ups? Well, she was going to use a season of captivity to build strength so that she could rescue her son from, you know, robotic assassin. I'm like, I am wanting to be Sarah. And so I did something crazy. I picked up the phone and called Gold's Gym. And I was like, I think I'm probably 2 appointments away from a Sarah Connor. I need to come in and I need to work out with you. And I remember the guy on the phone saying, well, we're going to have to do an assessment. And I should have paused with the word assessment. And I also should have asked myself this question: Lisa Bevere, have you ever done a pull-up? And the answer would have been, no, I haven't. But I just went crazy. I went into the gym, and I failed that assessment in such a magnitude that it was so embarrassing. I thought assessments happened off the floor, but at Gold's Gym, they stick you in the epicenter, and they're like, give me 10. I'm like, 10 what? And they're like, push-ups. I'm like, the girl kind, right? And he's like, no, the boy kind. And I mean, I'm like shaking. It was embarrassing. It was humiliating. My children were horrified. They were like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even do the jumping jacks right. And at the end of it, he took a percentage of my fat in my body, which I don't even think anybody should know that. But